What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our
What's up,
first
everybody?
episode of Kingpin's Talk Podcast of 2022. If this is not your first time, this is our first show of 2022. If this is your first time, welcome to the show. It's me, Don the Kingpin, and the advisor. He'll be back shortly. There you go. He came from
Oh, there
Fox.
he is. Okay.
But we got a good show ahead tonight. You guys ready? Are you excited?
That's right, sir.
Yeah, I'm totally excited, man. Had a long day at work, but a good day and all. I was gonna take a nap when I got to the house, but I was just so excited, so I just went to jot down some good pointers, and I'm ready to do this, man. I'm totally excited.
Yes, sir. How about yourself, the advisor?
I feel like this episode right here, man, as we preparated for this episode, man, I could see and just reminisce on the things that God has really done with my life. Just as far as growing into a man that I never thought I would be, but I'm amazed at who I am. And, I thank God for just getting me to where I am, my marriage, my job, my health. So I'm appreciative of what this episode is going to bring, and I hope it really sheds some light for somebody else.
Okay. That's a great concept to start it off. As you all see, the topic is about transitioning through faith. We were actually going to do this show last week, but the NBA All-Star game, we had to remember it was All-Star weekend. We know everybody was going to be tuned in to the games. So we made the smart decision to delay it a couple of days. But as the advisor said, this is going to be a very good show because, again, this is one of those topics where everyone can relate to because it doesn't matter what age you are in life. At some point, you got to take a step out on faith, whether it's in your career, whether it's leaving home, whether it's even leaving your environment. And I think all of us can attune to that in some way or another because a lot of people just think that when they're saying just saying having faith is very cliche, but at the end of the day, in order to make any leap in your career, you have to have some sort of faith, or whether it's anything in life, because everyone's going to go through something that's going to shape them to be either a better man, better woman. So anything that you go through on your journey is for you to become better. So I look at this opportunity to talk about this topic right here is one great one. It's the one to start off 2022 because I mean we're at that stage in our year where 2022, I know everyone came with their New Year resolution. They came in with their things they're going to try to do better. And now you kind of have an opportunity to do certain things different than you started the year off. But when I think about the topic of transitioning through faith, one of the top things I think about is you got to have inner strength to take that leap in what you're going to do going forward. Because whether you started this year in one career and you're not happy with a job, you're not happy with a relationship, happy with an environment, you feel like you got to be better somewhere else, then it's imperative that you start to develop your faith and your confidence. So they're kind of tied together, but it's imperative you have those things in line because one thing about life, I don't care how old you are, you're going to have different chapters in your life where it's going to be time for you to do something that maybe you wasn't ready to do at one point in time. And life is going to show you in different ways. I know all three of us can say in one way or another that we were at a stage in life where we were like, man, it's time to do something different. It's time to do something better. I can't just stick in this same spot and then we're going to be a successful man or successful woman. You cannot do those things by staying stagnant. You got to have something that you're going to be able to take a leap on because one of the biggest problems is a lot of people are comfortable where they're at and they don't know how to say, okay, this is not for me. I'm ready to take this leap. I'm ready to do what it takes to be a better individual. Not even just a job, but even in life. I'm sure the person that you are right now, you were not that same person this time last year or even 2 years ago. So transition through faith can fall under several different categories. But I'm gonna let Don the Kingpin take over and speak on his thoughts about this show before we get really started.
Oh man, some good points so far, bros. And when I first, heard about this topic, the title itself was powerful. Transitioning through faith. And many times, in our lives, we try to go through changes without really knowing the direction in which we need to go. And even thinking about the topic, the title itself, I began to actually define the word transition. So the definition of transition is the process of a period of changing from one state or condition to another. So basically, in order for you to transition, there has to be a change that has to occur. And in order for that change to occur, you have to accept changing. You have to accept not only the things around you to change, but you yourself has to change. And I feel like that's one of the issues in the transition. That's what make the transition so difficult, is because even though the things around us may be changing, we don't change. Even though the things around us are changing, we become stagnant. And like Nate was saying, in order for you to go through a transition, you have to get to a place where you're tired of being stagnant. And sometimes in life, you get to those stages where you just get so stagnant to the point where you become content. You become content in that bad relationship. You become content in that bad career. You become content in the things that you know in yourself that is bad for you. But yet and still, because you're afraid to transition, you're afraid to change, you get in your mind that, okay, ain't nowhere else for me to go, so I'm just gonna stay here. So in order for us to understand how to transition through faith, we have to understand that in life, not only do we change, not only do the things around us change, but we also have to change. And then I begin to look at that word faith, because like you were saying, that those two words go hand in hand, transitioning and faith. Those two have to coincide in order for the transition to become successful. So when I begin to look up the word faith, it means complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So that means that when you have faith in something, that means that you completely believe, there's been evidence of that thing, or there's someone that's been in your life, that they don't had an impact in your life, that makes you say, okay, I completely believe in this person. I completely have confidence in this person. So that means that when you're transitioning through faith, you have complete confidence that wherever changes, that you're going to be in good hands. And so, being the Bible-based man of God that I am, of course, I got to lean towards the scriptures. So there's a scripture in Hebrews 11:1 that says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So even in the transition, you have to understand that there's going to be some things that you're not going to be able to see. And that's one of the issues that we run into when we're transition. It's like we're trying to be so nosy. We're trying to figure out, okay, if I transition, where's this going? Okay, where am I going? Okay, what's the status of this? And the thing about it is, when you begin to transition, you can't see everything. You just got to move. You have to move. You either, and the thing about it is, the best part of this is that you have the choice to transition. So when the choice of the transition is there, do it. Because I guarantee you, I can speak firsthand. If you don't transition, when you see the opportunity to transition, life will make you transition. That circumstance that you're in will make you transition. You will have no other choice, because you allowed stagnation to rob you of your choice to transition. And one thing about it is that transition is more effective when you walk in faith and not by sight. We get too nosy at times. We try to see everything. We want to see everything. We want to see the surprise even before the surprise. Like, the purpose of the surprise is you don't expect it. And one of the things is, when you begin to transition, just know that there's going to be some areas in your life that you're not going to be able to see. You just going to have to walk. So I'm just going to give it back over to Nate so he can take over at this time.
Okay, I actually have a couple comments in this, and I'm glad that that E's back, the advisor, because there's going to be a question for both of you that you're going to be able to answer from the comments. Let me go to the comments. Devon said, "Have a great show, bros. What's going on, buddy? How you doing, bro?" You'll see him on a sports show in the future with me and Don. You'll definitely see him talking draft with us. So make sure you guys subscribe to him. W Turner 312. Hey, Miss Lynn, how you doing? She said, in order to get anywhere in life, you must take a leap of faith to move forward. Absolutely.
Absolutely. 100%.
Now, this is the question for you guys. Shout out to my bro Shaq with this question. Is it possible to take a step of faith if your spouse or significant other feels they are comfortable with how things are? That is a great question that you two can answer.
I mean, it's on you. You can go first.
He said, it's possible to step in faith if spouse or significant other feels they are comfortable with where they are. Honestly, if you are in a committed relationship or you're married, I'm going to say from experience, that's a conversation that you have to have with other, depending on what it's about. If it's about something that deals or involves around you and your significant other or spouse, of course you got to, conversate and make sure they're on the same page as you make your own transition. But if it's independently, as just to say, like if you were transitioning into more of a better position at work or something like that, of course, I would say from experience, run it by your significant other. I would say pray about it and ask God to guide you in a way that, you can get to where you need to get when it comes to that step of faith. Because, faith is one of those things you can't see, but it's that substance that's there because you believe in what it is.
So, here's where I'm gonna go with this, and that's actually a great question. Actually, a great question. So, there's been some misconceptions of marriage that some people try to put out there that if you don't do this, then this gonna happen. Well, what I mean by that is you taking a step of faith don't have anything to do with your spouse. I'm just gonna put that out there. Taking a step of faith is personal. It has nothing to do with your spouse. So even if your spouse or your significant other don't feel like moving, you still have to move, because at the end of the day, you still have a life to live. You still have your own walk that you got to walk out for yourself. So even if your spouse doesn't go with you, you still have to go. And one of the things about it is that sometimes in marriage we become so I don't know how to word it. I'm from the country, so I'm just gonna say it the way it is. We become so one that we try to put our spouse before ourselves, and that's not the way it's supposed to be, because it's your job to enhance what your spouse needs. It's not your job to try to fill the void that your spouse has. So, for example, and this is actually a great question, because I was the one that was comfortable, and my wife was the person that was taking that leap of faith. So I was actually on the other side of this. I was comfortable with going to work every day, coming home, chilling, eating, whatever, and doing the same thing over and over again. But my wife, she just kept wanting to improve herself. want to do things better. And seeing that and coming to the realization that I had to change for myself made me take that leap of faith. See, sometimes during certain seasons of our marriage or relationship or whatever, we get to a point to where we're moving and we don't think that our significant other, our spouse, notice it. But trust me, they do notice it, because if they see you moving, they see you doing you, they see you improving yourself, something in them is going to tell them, okay, you need to get up. Okay, you need to get up and do something. So taking that leap of faith for yourself is actually going to do your relationship good, because it's gonna cause a trickle down effect. It's going to cause your spouse or your significant other to be like, okay, I need to get up. So I first want to tell you that it is possible to take a step of faith. It is, because faith is personal. Before we was even created, each one of us was given a measure of faith. That's Bible. That's fact. Being married or being in a relationship don't have anything to do with the amount of faith that God has given you, because every man has a certain measure of faith. So you being married to somebody or you being connected to somebody, it just enhances that. But you have your own faith to walk out. You already have your own work to walk out. So that would be my answer to that question. That was a very good question.
That was a very good question. Shout out to what's going on, Cuzzo. He said, William Christopher Scandrick said, your partner has to change with you throughout your different seasons and vice versa. I love that response there too. Let's see.
Right.
KD, go on, bro. He said, sometimes you can't take everybody with you through the transition, and you have to be okay with that. That is so true.
You was all in my notes, man.
Jordan Chesterton, great show, bros. What's going on, Jordan? My cousin Pete Pond Prince is going on. She said you have to trust yourself and tell that person that you need more or that you're not happy with where you guys are at. I like all of those responses, and I agree with both of you are saying. At the end of the day, when you have a certain person that you're connected with, whether it's a relationship or even how you guys are married, that person should also motivate you to take that leap. If you see your spouse taking this step ahead in life, it should motivate you, not keep you stagnant. Because one thing about it, two powerful individuals is better than one. Because one thing that's tough, you don't want one carrying. Although I'm gonna put it like this: we're taught as men to care for our woman, care for. We're the head guy and everything. That's what we're taught. However, you are. How I want to put this on. I want to make sure I hit this right on the nail. You want to make sure that the individual that you're in a relationship with can feed off you. You like a team. You can't be one without the other. So at the end of the day, even if this person is a step ahead of the game, they're still up there with you. They just have to be motivated to come along with you, get along with you. And that's the biggest thing that you have to think about when you look into that. Now, there are some people that they're just stagnant and they're okay with being stagnant. And it's not a good thing, but at the end of the day, as KD said earlier, some people are not comfortable with transition. They will make 50 million excuses of why they can't do it. And to go back to what you said earlier, excuse me.
I actually, after you get done with that thought, I actually want to come in on what KD said, because that was a good thought right there.
And to go back to what you were saying earlier, one thing about faith, people have to be willing to work towards a goal. You cannot set a goal and expect to see the results tomorrow. And I think that's the one thing that sometimes, unfortunately, our generation, not even just us in particular, it could be a thing that have carried on for years and years, have an issue with sometimes. Everyone is expecting for it to happen overnight rather than going through the growth process, rather than going through the adversity. I would rather have a testimony on my journey to being great than get it overnight and don't know what to do. That's the reason why a lot of times everybody's season to be great is different. Some people are equipped to get it overnight and can sustain it. Some people have to go through the process of falling down and getting back up and falling down and getting back up in order to get there. But the biggest thing is you have to be confident enough to take that step. Because if you're not confident enough to take that step, you're going to be 5-10 years down the road saying, man, I should have took that chance. I regret not taking this opportunity at this particular time. Because one thing that the beautiful thing about growth is once you take that next leap, you're going to be saying to yourself, man, if I didn't take this leap, I don't know where I would be at. You hear so many people, whether it's our elderly parents, grandparents, so many people that you've seen get to a level in life say, if I didn't have this particular moment that changed my life, I wouldn't have got there. If I didn't have this particular struggle to change my life, I wouldn't have got there. But you can't go through to become great if you're standing still because it's comfortable. One thing about comfort zones, you can only be there for a certain period of time. That's why they say certain things must come to an end. You can't be in this spot and keep living life in this comfort zone, because what happens when it changes quick? Life can happen any day out of the week. You could be at the top of the world tomorrow and be at the bottom next month. So at the end of the day, you got to make sure that that's one of those things that you focus on in life. You got to stay focused on becoming better, becoming wiser as you go along your journey, and never be afraid to learn. It's a lot of people that's afraid to learn. There's a lot of people that's afraid to say, I'm struggling with it. I'm trying to get there with my faith. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with saying I'm struggling with this thing right now. I want to take that leap of faith. I want to take that leap to this next level, this next house, this next job, this next career. Because I'm not going to tie job and career the same thing, because your career can be different from your job. But I'm not going to continue to sit here and be stuck and not make anything worthwhile, not make anything and say, okay, well, this time last year, man, I was here. And I see a different light. I see a different thing. That's for some of you on here that are business owners. At the end of the day, you got to be more confident in what you're putting out to this world than the people that's around you. Because at the end of the day, if they don't see you confident in what you're pushing in life, they can't get behind you to support you like you want them to. They can't have the faith that you're going to be great. Because I promise you, if you don't believe in it, how can you expect the next person to believe in it? I'm going to tie that over to the advisor now.
Well, I'm definitely going to say that transitioning through faith, that is definitely a benefactor of my life, just as far as not only marriage, but not just personal, but health-wise too for me. You know, I had a health scare, I would say around this time last year, a little bit earlier than that, but at the same time, I had to put dedication into it. I had to trust God. I had to believe in what I could do, and really cut things, cut out what I was eating and how I was eating it and stuff like that. And I would definitely say it's been a journey. The journey's not over, but we've been a journey that's a successful journey, actually. And I'm proud of myself. I'm just proud of where I've came from. And I'm proud of me being in my personal life and just being the man that I am today. I'm growing into someone I never thought I would ever be, but I definitely can say I'm the thing, because what I've learned, my failures, I would say, are lessons that I've learned and helped me to move forward with health, job, personal, especially marriage. Marriage, it takes two, as they say, it takes two to tango. But you have to also include your partner into pretty much everything. There's nothing you can't leave out. It's better to just leave it open and have that conversation and do what it is that you need to do when it comes to your marriage. That's pretty much what I have so far.
That's
Okay,
really good.
Don, what you say you want to go back and touch on that KD comment?
Yeah, man. Yeah. KD really said something real powerful right there. He said, everything can go with you when you transition, and that's so true, because that's actually one of the notes that I wrote down. It's this analogy really came to my mind as I was thinking earlier. When you go to take a flight, imagine yourself taking a flight. And before you get on the plane, they ask you before you even book the flight, how much luggage are you carrying on? How many bags are you gonna carry on? And you say this amount. Then you want to come back and add something else. Then they says, oh, it's gonna be extra for you to bring that bag on. And the question I want to ask I just want to ask a rhetorical question. Is it worth the cost? Is it worth the cost? And that's one of the things that makes transitioning so hard for us, is because we're trying to bring the old into the new. And the thing about it is that when you transition, some things and some people cannot go with you during the transition. And don't worry about, how they gonna feel, or how they gonna look at it. It doesn't matter what they think. Because when you was down in the dirt and you had nowhere to go, they weren't worried about you then. They wasn't there for you then. So what makes you think they're gonna be there for you when you transition? And a transition, it's about you. It's about you, baby. It's all about you. And that's one of the things, even in marriage, like you have to all this, happy wife, happy life. No. Happy spouse, happy house. Because at the end of the day, after you done got done pleasing your wife, after you done got done nurturing her, okay, what about me now? What about me? And that's the thing about transition. That's one of the things that I was talking about earlier. Do not wrap your faith around just your spouse, because you have your own walk of faith to walk into. And the thing about it is, when you're going through a transition, I had to learn this personally, because I went through a horrible 3-year marriage. And thank God that I grew out of that, because that was a hard transition. I came out of that not knowing who I was, not knowing what my purpose was, not knowing how to be a man. Because for me, I grew up most of my life without knowing who my father was. I grew up most of my life not knowing who my dad was. I didn't know who my dad was until I was 17. And I believe I'll be able to share that story with y'all one day. But I'm just gonna stay on topic. So that in itself was a transition for me, because as I began to mature now, and I began to look at other men and how they operate and all this types of stuff, it was a void there. It was a void there, because I never had that father figure in my life to help me with my transition from an adolescent to a teenager, and from a teenager to a young man. I never had that in my life. All I had was my mom. And I thank God for my mom, because she was both mom and dad. And I had God as well. So I know, if anybody know all about transition, I know all about transition. And one thing about it is, that old relationship that don't mean you any good, that old boyfriend, that old girlfriend that won't get their act together, that can't go with you when you transition. It cannot go with you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I know, as human beings, we try our best to make sure that everybody else is good. But in the process of everybody being good, you have to make sure that you're good. And that's the thing about transition. When you're going through a change, okay, it don't matter if everybody else around you remain the same. Just as long as you change and you do what you got to do, that's all that matters. And God will put the right people and the right things in place for you to be able to ease into the transition better. But the thing is, we try to carry everything with us during the transition, and it's not going to work. I promise you, it's not going to work. Some things in this new change that you're going through, it's not going to fit you no more. It's just like when you back in the day, you used to be able to wear size 36. You used to be able to wear size 3. You used to be able to wear a small, but you done transition to a large. You got to let that small shirt go. You got to let that size 36 go. You got to let those old things go. And I know I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings, but I got to tell the way it is. You have to transition in all areas. You're not there anymore. You're not in your past anymore. Where you was in your past, you're not there anymore. And the thing about it is that the thing about a transition is it don't happen overnight. So even though everything around you may not look like it's changing, you got to believe that it's changing. That's the whole purpose of transitioning through faith. Faith only works when you don't see it. And that's the thing that I go back to what I said earlier. We got to stop trying to look for everything and just walk. Just walk. God is saying, just walk. I got you. Just walk. Just walk. Oh God, what about my bills? I got all these children that I got to take care of, all these bills I got to pay. Just walk. Oh God, what about I'm gonna be out here left alone. I love him, but I already know he don't do me no good. Just walk. Let it go and just walk. Oh God, what about that girlfriend? Oh, she keep dogging me out, but I love her. Let it go and walk. We can't get the one thing, the only reason why we can't get to the belt is because we're trying to hold on to old stuff. It's not gonna work. You can't transition and try to hold on to old stuff. You can't get on a plane and carry all this luggage with you. You got to lose some luggage, or you're gonna be paying that extra cost. You're gonna be paying the extra cost. And the thing about it is, when you try to carry extra weight, it's gonna weigh you down. That's the reason why they charge you to put extra luggage on the plane. Because a plane can't be weight. A plane has more difficulty flying than being weighted down to when it's light. Come on. I'm just stop right there because I'm going to another topic.
Hey man, where the collection play that? Where's the collection play that?
Oh man,
that was outstanding. That was truly outstanding. What you said, that was absolutely loved every bit of that. That was outstanding. We'll go to the comments real quick. Jordan, he also said, "Be confident in your product." That is so true. That is so true.
So true, 100%.
Alan, what's going on, bro? He said it depends on the type of move you're trying to make. The cost short term may be better than the cost long term. I'm gonna say this. I can agree with that to this extent right here, because to me, with your progression, that's where that would come into play. You'll be able to make wiser decisions short term than you will in the long run once you go through a certain stage. Because the one thing about it is sometimes the short-term decision has to fit where you are in life. Because at the end of the day, that decision at that moment may not set up the long-term stability, but it's for what that season is in now. So just to give you an example, you might be looking for a job, you might be looking for a career as a broker somewhere, but you have to start as an intern here or something like that. So that's where that goes into play as far as the short-term thing. But it also takes that step in life. You may say that, okay, I'm trying to move to, I'm going to stay Miami. I'm going to move to Miami and have a successful business down there. You have to get there first. You have to start working there first. You have to start building connections there first. So that's where it comes into play, where I can agree with what you're saying to that extent of the short term. But I will say with that, the short term always have to have the long term into effect, because every decision, I don't care what decision you make in life, will tie in long term one way or another. So that's where I can go with that. And before I go to the rest of the comments, just to add on to what you were saying as far as carrying that baggage, I love what you said about that, because at the end of the day, that is one of the biggest struggles that separates a person from being good and great. We talk about this pretty often, about how you have to be able to you got to be willing to see yourself take a step back to go to that next level. But at the end of the day, you can't take that step back trying to push to be great if the people like Dontario to relationships and that girlfriend or that boyfriend that was around you. It also takes into consideration with the people that's in your circle. Even if they don't want to get better, you have to start realizing that if you have a calling on your life, you cannot sit there and keep staying stagnant. You cannot sit here and gain an opportunity and everybody else around you is in the circle that you thought. Let me put it like that. The circle that you thought that you have is not willing to take that leap with you. Because at the end of the day, as life goes, your circle will change. The environment will change. Your network will change. There are certain people that's not going to agree with everything that you're doing. The progression that you made just kind of is what Don said. If like just anybody that we went to high school with, just give you a prime example. Do not tell nobody in your 30s that you was the man at 18 and 19 years old. That does not matter now. When you are making a transition in your career, it doesn't matter what you did in 2009 or 2010. It matters what you're doing in 2022, because the person that might have been a step behind you in 2009 might be the one to get you to the blessing that you deserve in 2022. So don't be willing. So be willing to always know that everybody has a stage in their life where they're going to change. They're going to have a stage in their life where they may take this leap quicker than you may, and God might have brought them back to your life to show you the way. Because there are some people that have to let go of their pride when they're trying to do things to become better in life. You cannot stay prideful and be willing to say, well, this person, well, I'm a man, I'm a woman. I don't need no one to tell me this. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how old you are. You're going to always learn something. I'm 31 years old. You better believe I still talk to my mom. I still talk to my mentor. I still talk to my older relatives and family members, even younger ones who may have certain experiences than I do, because at the end of the day, it's all about growth. It is not about one thing that you hear people talk about is that whole this whole competition thing. Let me go ahead and address that, because that ties in the transition through faith. What are you competing for? Because that person you're trying to compete with could be the one that's trying to bless you. So while you're too busy trying to show them up, they're trying to bless you down the road. Don't put yourself in that position to where you ruin a relationship, you ruin a network opportunity, you ruin a career or a job or anything because you're too busy trying to show them, look at what I did better than you. Who are you? What is you trying to be better than them for? When there's a whole world out here where there's the chance to be great. There's not one single great individual out here. People are successful on so many different levels. And that's what's the beauty of doing a show like this, talking about transitioning through faith. Because guess what? Like an athlete, when you get to a point where you're running a race, you got to hand the baton to somebody else. That other baton got to go. That's not going to get you but so far. What is a memory should be a memory. It should not be something that you carry on into your 30s, into your 40s, and affect your relationship, affect your life, affect your future. Because at the end of the day, you got to be where you want to be mentally, physically, spiritually, and on every single level to get to that next level. But one thing that I want to put out here, when we're talking about transition through faith, we're not saying this to anybody to say, well, look what I did. Nobody does it alone. And if you going into life thinking that you can do this all alone, guess what? You already lost. Don't lose out on an opportunity because you're too busy trying to prove to the world, oh, look at what I did. We don't do it alone. I can go back and thank, and I'm sure those guys can say the same thing. I can thank every single person that came in my life, good or bad, that taught me something better about myself, that taught me something, whether it was a great moment or a rough moment. Those things made me the man that I am. It made Don the man that he is. It made E the man that he is. It made you, whoever watching the stream, the man or the woman that you are. Never go into life thinking that any adversity that you touch was a bad thing. Because I promise you, if it didn't take you away from here, if we don't have a date of birth to a date of death on your name right now, that means you're still here and you still have an opportunity to be great in whatever aspect that you aim for in life. Never think for 1 second that you are stagnant. Even if you watching this stream right now and you going through your life right now and you like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do with my future. Guess what? That's what this stream is about. That's what this moment is about. Sometimes you may need to hear it from another person. Don't be afraid to say, I'm getting there. I'm working at it. I'm trying. Guess what? I'd rather you try than sit here and stay in this same spot 5 years from now. You still have a purpose in this life. Oh, man, shout out to my boy David. He said the same thing as I was saying it. You still here. You have a purpose. Absolutely. He also said to run your leg. Yes, sir. Because at the end of the day, you have to be willing. I just want to throw a random person into this that you guys know about. Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry didn't jump off till he was in his 30s. So who said it's too late?
It's never too
it
late.
Doesn't mean if you didn't get to that level at 24, that doesn't mean you failed. Maybe at 24, I want you to sit there and think about this to yourself. What would 31-year-old me would look at 24-year-old Nate and say, man, what are you doing? Get it together, man. What's going on with you? Let me show you the way. And I'm sure you feel this way even in your own life, even in your own age. At the end of the day, 24-year-old Nate would not have grasped what 31-year-old Nate grasped. And I'm sure you all that are watching the stream can say the same thing. Look at yourself 7 to 10 years ago. Do that person 7 to 10 years ago, can he match up to the person? Can she match up to the person that you are now? 9 times out of 10, no. Because guess what? Life made you, molded you to become a better individual. And on that note, I'm gonna tune it over to the advisor.
Oh man, y'all two brothers were preaching now. Definitely would say that. Y'all definitely had different views. I think I seen a clip on Instagram or Facebook, and the guy was basically saying it's basically about the same thing where we're talking about transitioning through faith. But he was saying you have an alarm on your car, you have a notification on your bank account that basically tells you if somebody's doing something with your bank account, a fraud, scam, whatever that is. But the point of what I'm saying is, he said, don't lose focus. Don't lose focus in what you're supposed to do. And what you're supposed to do is not what your peers are doing. Just because your peers are out clubbing don't mean you need to be clubbing. Just because, you see your homeboy got a new charger and you ain't get yours yet, you wondering why, that might not be your blessing. Your blessing could come later. Not right now, because what he did to get it, God may not have put you in that same situation. God made you detour because he wanted you to see they're doing something negative over here. You don't want them to be over here doing something that's illegal. So, I'm going to say to anybody and everybody who's listening, who's watching, just continue to perseverance. Continue to add and apply that pressure to whatever it is that you need to do, what you want to do. If it's going back to school, if it's opening up a nail salon, a lash tech, or going to be a doctor, a truck driver, or going somewhere in what your dream really is, continue to do what it is that you or set out to do. Don't lose sight of what you're trying to do.
And fellas, I'm just y'all know me. I feel a shift right now in the spirit, and you know, guys just talking to me as y'all just talking. I just feel this presence that somebody that's listening right now, wherever they are, feels like that they have to compromise who they are in order to transition. I come to put the enemy on notice. I'm going to look right in the camera that you do not have to lose your identity to transition. And even now, I rebuke the spirit of condemnation that certain people around you try to make you feel bad for changing. Change is not a bad thing. I'm going to break that even now. Change is not a bad thing. Do not allow anybody to make you feel bad because you're changing. See, some people in life, their only objective is to keep you stuck. Some people in life, their only objective, and first of all, it's not even the person, it's the spirit. You know, the Bible says that we wrestle against flesh, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high places. So what I mean by that is that it's not the person that's trying to keep you stagnated. It's the spirit in them that don't want you to succeed. Because I'm here to tell you something. You do not have to lose your identity when you're transitioning. In a transition, you find out more about who you are and who God wants you to be. And that's what the enemy don't want you to find out, because he knows, first of all, he's already a defeated foe. Ain't nothing he can do to stop you. I'm just going to put that out there. Ain't nothing the enemy can't do to stop you, because he's already defeated. He's been defeated over 2,000 years ago. Second of all, he can't do anything unless you allow him to do it. If you look at the story of Job, and I love this story because it shows a complete parallel of faith and also servanthood. And I'm just going to paraphrase for y'all. The enemy wanted to test Job because he thought that if he can take everything away from Job, that Job was going to stop serving God. He was going to stop worshiping God. And you know what God did? He said, okay, go ahead. Take his cattle, take his wife, take his house. And you know what Job did? Still serve God. See, when you transition, you're going to find this out. In a transition, you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice. Oh, yeah. Everybody want to get that. Oh, I'm get what's mine. Oh, I deserve it. One thing about transitioning is sacrifice. And that's one thing that I have to do. That's one thing I had to realize in my transitions, that I had to sacrifice. And some things were more difficult to sacrifice than other things. Oh, you want me to sacrifice this guy? Okay, cool. Oh, you want me to give that away? God? Okay, cool. But that guy, wait, hold on, wait a minute, wait. Yes, God says he wants that. Yes, that you're trying to hold on to. Yeah, he want that. He want that. But it's not to do you evil, but to do you good. He said all things work together for the good. All things. Even in a sacrifice, all things work together for the good. Even that difficult situation that you're going through, yes, all that's working for the good. And in a transition, you're gonna face some difficult times. The phone calls are going to begin to drop. The text messages are going to begin to drop. The inboxes are going to begin to drop. You know why? Because you're transitioning. You're transitioning from one place to another. Not only are you transitioning, but you're transitioning through faith. That means that transitions out of your control. Out of your control. And that's the problem. We're trying to control the transit. No. The only thing you can control in the transition is how fast you change. You're not in control of the change. The only thing you're in control of how fast you get from point A to point B. That's the only difference. When you're driving in the car, you're about to go somewhere. Say, let's see, Texas. You can't control the amount, the frequency that guys run out that car. You can't control the traffic. You cannot control the daylight transitioning from nighttime. The only thing you can control is that car. The only thing you control is how fast you get there. The speed wise. That's the only thing you can control. Everything else outside your control. And that's the thing about it. Once you realize that, okay, I got to transition through faith, that means that I can't see where I'm going. I can't see where I'm going. And many people, they get so scared. Oh, I can't see where I'm going. Oh, I don't know where this is going to lead me. It's not your job. It's not your job to know the end, because God already said, I'm the author and the finisher of your faith. Your end has already been written. So I'm come to tell that person that's on this stream tonight that feels like you have to compromise who you are in order for you to transition and to satisfy other people and other things that don't mean you no good. Break that. Break that. Because it's a reason why that thing is breaking off of you. It's a reason why that person is breaking away from you, because you're transitioning. You're transitioning through faith. Where's your faith lie? Is your faith line in that spouse? Is your faith line in that job? And see, that's the problem. That's another issue. God, he taking me somewhere right now. That's the issue. We got our faith based on the wrong things, in the wrong people. That's why the transition is so hard, because you have your faith somewhere where it's not supposed to be. It's somewhere where it's not supposed to be. Your heater don't belong in a bathtub. It don't belong there. You're gonna get electrocuted. I mean, come on. Your faith has to rely on God. I don't know about anybody's faith. I don't judge, who you believe in. I know who I believe in, because when nobody else was there, he was there. He's always been there for me. He's there with me every time I need him. Every opportunity that I have on this earth, it is to serve God, because that's how I believe. That's why I believe I was created, to serve God. And that's one of the reasons why I even created this whole podcast, was to serve God, because he knew that someone such as yourself that's paying attention right now, that didn't count it robbery to log in and to listen in to what we had to say, because you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to log in on here and listen to what we were talking about. It's Friday. You could have been out somewhere in the club, and you could have been out somewhere eating. It's Friday. Come on now. I mean, it's Friday. But you logged in because you know that it's something on here that we're putting out there that you need. And we're just instruments. We're just instruments of God. And I just want to say that don't make it hard on yourself. Don't make it hard on yourself. Sometimes pat yourself on the back. Good job, Dontario. Good job, Nate. Good job, Errikkion. Good job to whoever is listening on the stream right now. Pat yourself on the back, because in this progressive world that we live in, it's all about go, 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 go. No. You have to take a moment to appreciate what you have, because some people don't have a house. to reside in. Some people don't have a bed to sleep in. Some people don't have food to eat. Some people don't have water to drink. Just appreciate where you at. Take a moment to appreciate where you are. Take a moment to appreciate the growth that you've made. Take a moment to appreciate the transition. If it ain't nothing but you fold up the clothes today, that's a transition. Because you went from a dog pile full of clean clothes to folded up clean clothes. That's a transition because it's changing. The clothes changed. So that's all I had to say. I just had to release what was on my heart. So
I almost put your cash app up there to put the collection plate. Because why you preaching? I almost put your cash app up there.
Oh,
but dog, I love what you're saying. It did just to even always, and what makes it so great about doing a show like this is because it comes so natural. It's one of those things where you get on the air and you are led through the conversation. The conversation flows naturally. You can never go. It's one of the one beautiful thing about doing this show is it's totally unscripted. We don't come on here truly knowing what we're going to discuss. It's led off your heart. So that's the beauty of doing this show. And to piggyback on what you said about change, one of the statements I remember, I've put this in an inspirational message before, came from George Bernard Shaw. He said, progress is impossible without change. And those who cannot change their mind cannot change anything. That is so deep and so true. Because one thing about life, you have to be proud of yourself before that next person. Just like Don said, giving your pat on back to yourself, you got to be proud of yourself. Because if you're not proud of where you're going, you can't be proud of what you came from. Because let me put it to you like this. There are some people who traveled your same journey who are either no longer here, they can't transition any further because they may have made a dumb decision to put them down the road for a long time, may have changed their life to where they got to stay stagnant. You came through in whatever storm you came through, be proud of that. Be proud of yourself, because when it's all said and done, you are the one who was the catalyst in your success. You are the one that was the catalyst in taking the leap that you took in life. One of the biggest things when we discussed doing this topic to even begin with, we said it was going to be powerful because having faith, you hear every person say faith without works is dead. Never think that that's a cliche statement. That is a true statement. If you go out here, can you go out here and go to school and not have faith in what you're doing? No. Can you go out here and build a brand and don't have faith in what you're doing? No. Everything that you tie your future, that you tie your energy into, you should be proud of. If it's not making you feel like you're making progress, get rid of it. If the people that you're putting that energy into don't see where your progress is going, get rid of them. Because I promise you, the beautiful thing about life brings along great things, great people, great opportunities along the way. Somebody's gonna come in your life, and this goes to what Don was saying. I'm gonna use the statement. I'm like an old man. How our generation like to say, "Give your flowers." Don't get upset. Don't feel like it's an awkward thing when a person tell you I'm proud of you. Don't feel like it's an awkward thing when a person say to you that I'm proud of what you've done, and then you ask them, "What did I done?" It doesn't matter what you've done. You came away from something. You got to be proud of. If a person can see your progression, that should put a bigger smile on your face, because obviously what you're working towards, they see it. What you put effort into, they saw it. If that person can tell you they're proud of you, if that person can tell you I'm proud of where you at now, however, I know you can take this leap. Don't look at that as a negative thing. You can tell the difference between a person that's speaking down on you and a person that's speaking life in you. Make sure that you don't look at everything as shade, everything as negative, everything as criticism. Some criticism changes your life for the best. Because I tell you, any day out of the week, I am nowhere where I need to be like I want to be at this moment. I'm still growing. We all still growing. But when it's all said and done, I'm thankful for the person that takes the time out to say, Nate, you got to do better at this. Be thankful for that person. Be happy that you have the person that cares enough about you to say, what are you doing? Be happy about that. Because if you're not happy about hearing a person say to you, I see great things in you. One thing about it, and I know these guys can agree with me, I thank God for my mom every single day. I need that check-in sometimes. If she sit here and tell you slipping up, I want you to tighten up in this area, I need that. I thank God for the people that he brought into my life. Because every time, if I know I'm not where I should be and I can make the progress, I love hearing that. Because guess what? That gave me something to build off of. If you are not willing to have a person tell you when you need to take that leap in life, that's not good. You can't be great without a person telling you where you're slipping at. You got to go through that crossword where you have those, we all have those nights where we sit up at night thinking about what we're trying to do next. Sit in our car thinking about what step we're going to take next. Whether some of you are parents, whether some of you are just trying to figure out life. It is all a part of your process. One of the biggest things that you will understand in this thing called life is your life can simply change based off your attitude. If you walk around talking about, man, this ain't gonna get better, man, I'm so tired, man, I always try to do this and this ain't working and that ain't working and that ain't working, what are you doing to better yourself? What are you doing to make the change? You're already kicking yourself. You already got to face the world. Everybody's not going to be supportive, like where we're saying. You're going to have some people that's going to support you, but you're going to be stacked against odds out here in this world. Those odds cannot defeat you. You got to be willing to say through the faith, that person, guess what? And every person that's speaking to your life, not going to speak great into your life. There are going to be some people that's going to be like, you know, man, I don't know, man. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be going for that. You better than me in that. Okay, that's not for them. Have you thought about that? That's not for them. That's not their purpose. That's not their journey. That's not their life. One thing that I would never tell another individual, whatever you pursue in life, as long as it's going in a positive direction, I would never sit here and tell you it's a wrong thing that you're going after it. If you go out here and you say you want, I'm just going to throw a random example because we see it on all of our time. I'm going to make y'all laugh. If a person feel like they can be great in the music business, give them a chance to go out here and see what they can do. Because one thing about life is going to show you whether you're great at something, whether you slip at something, whether you want to improve at something. You got to be willing to listen, though. If it's not that person that's telling you that's going to be that voice in your head. One thing about us, and everybody may not want to admit this, there's going to always be a voice in your head. You will always have one person one stubborn voice going to say, hey, I'm doing this right. Then you're going to have that other person. Man, what you doing? I could be here. I could be there. I could be this. I could be that. And tying back into our previous show, don't let anxiety stop you from getting to that next level. We all go through anxiety. Guess what? Shut that anxiety up. You want to know how you break the generational curse, break the negative energy, break them chains that been tied down to the person maybe before you? Take a step. Get in that car and go to that job interview. Get on like we're doing. We had to get on this stream to speak this knowledge out here. We had to come on this stream to give this information because guess what? What we discussed tonight, we didn't go into this stream knowing what we were going to talk about. We only put the topic down there. That's the only thing you see running across the screen for over an hour. That's what we came into this show saying that we were going to talk about, was transitioning through faith. What has been said on this stream in the last hour and 4 minutes came from the heart, came from being led. You don't have to go in to a journey knowing what you're going to do. That goes back to what Don said is about walking by faith and not by sight. Because sometimes your sight may not show it to you.
Come on,
because I can tell you like this, huh?
Come on, sir.
I can tell you like this. I've talked to plenty of people that have said, man, I don't see it. Man, what you proud of me for? I don't see this, man. This ain't gonna work, man. It's gonna be hard. And then a year later, you see them making the progression they never thought. Why? Because they kept going. They kept getting out here. There are people, there's somebody that might have been in the spot where they felt like their life was over 2 years ago. But guess what? They got up out that bed, they got on that grind, and they got themselves out of that position. And let's be honest, all of us have one struggle alone that we have been balanced from March 2020, and that is the pandemic. All of our lives have changed because of it. Everything about us had to change because of it. We've had to figure out how to keep pushing through faith, through hearing the world talk about, oh man, COVID. You don't do this because of COVID. Don't do that because of COVID. There's not a thing out here that if that man upstairs, because I done said, I believe in that man upstairs, and whoever your higher power is, don't you ever let what the media say, what man say, what this person say, what the world say, stop you from going after what you believe in. Because guess what? If you stay stuck, because is this world, is things safe every day? No. But you got to be willing to step. You got to be willing to go out there. You got to be able to get in your car and you pray on the day and then you keep it moving. Because one thing about it, if you can come home with a smile on your face and say, man, look at what I did today, you did something great. If you can't tell me what you did that made you a better man or woman at the start of the day, at the end of the day, what are you doing? Let me go to the comments real quick. It's what she said. We have to trust God by committing to ourselves and to Him and His Word. We have to walk by faith, not by sight. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Tevin, what's going on, bro? He said, preach. Dude, what up, my dog? You said, Nate, dog. What's going on, man? Chris, what's up, bro? You said facts. Okay, Al, let me end this question. So, do life overcome faith? Powers in the tongue. Some of the strongest faith followers is getting beaten up by the words of others. Faith takes its time, but the words cut deep and hit hard then and there. I'm gonna hit this one first. I'm gonna let y'all jump in on it. What I would say to you is this: you cannot allow whoever let those words cut deep stop you from going where you're gonna go. The power is in the tongue, but I'm gonna put it to you like this: where you are in your life, that person or those people may not be in that same spot. So guess what? They're speaking from if you want to know one reason why it hurts people sometimes when they hear those words cut deep and they hear people that they value say something in a negative light, because your mind is in a marathon. You're pushing towards one thing. That person could be sitting there waiting to get into the race. Why? Because of this right here. If this right here is not together, they can only speak from a limited perspective. You can only speak from the perspective of what you think about yourself. If that person can go out here and tell you, Dunn, you're not going to make this happen. Errikkion, you're not going to make this happen. Guess what? You want to know why they're saying that? Because they're that limited. They don't have anything to look forward to. So guess how they feel better? The statement misery loves company, that's where that applies into.
Friends.
That's where that applies into. Life can't overcome faith unless you allow it. If you sit there and allow faith to, if you sit there and allow life to overcome your faith, then you didn't have faith to begin with. Ooh. That's why it's strong to have faith from day one. Because I can tell you right now, your faith is going to be tested forever. I don't care how great you be in life. But let me tell you like this. Faith is going to go as far as you go. You talk your faith, you keep your faith alongside every single day of the week. You don't let nobody sit here and tell you what you're not going to do. Because guess what? They know what they're going to do in life. Don't you let that person break you down. And this is not directly towards him. This is to anybody that's watching the stream. Because guess what? You're going to have some people that's going to say, man, they think they doing this, man. That ain't going to work. You want to know why they going to work? For them? Because they don't have anything to look forward to in life. You got to just pray for them and keep it moving. But you, because you got faith, you're going to be tested. And you know what? Be proud when a person sit there and try to knock you for what you're doing. Why? because they see the greatness in you, even when they don't sit there and see it in themselves. They see, man, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put it like this, and I'm gonna turn it over to my guys. That person might say to you that you're not gonna get there, but you wanna know why? They see it in you. Just throw this random final example. Folks may not like LeBron James, but they see the greatness in him.
Come on, that's why they hate.
They see the greatness. They may not like that person in particular, but when you look at the accolades, when you look at the things that they do, not just on that basketball court, but in life, in their family life, to help other people in life, when it comes down to it, you cannot doubt what a person has accomplished. And I'm gonna turn it over to them.
So that's another great question, Alan. Do life overcome faith? Like Nate said, that depends. He took the words right out of my mouth because that's exactly where I was gonna go with. Life can only overcome your faith when you allow it. And like Nate said, the reason why you see so many quote unquote faith followers getting beat by the words is because they didn't have faith to believe with. They didn't have faith to begin with. Their faith did not rely in the right source. And the thing about it is that those certain people that put their faith in what they do instead of who they are, they come to realize that when you put your faith in and just your name alone, that's your faith is going to be weak. Because I know all about TD Jakes, but it's not the name TD Jakes that tells me that he has faith. It's the work that he does, that God does through him, that tells me that he has faith. See, and that's the thing about it. When you're going through transition, it's not just for you. It's not just for you. It's for somebody else out there. I don't care where you are in your life. There's somebody that's attached to your transition. Somebody's going to be impacted by your transition. And the thing, when it comes down to transition through faith, somebody, unbeknownst to you, is paying attention to you. Yes, they know your name. Yeah, they heard of you, but they ready to see some work. We could come on this live every day, tell you about transitioning, tell you to have faith, tell you to be courageous, but we don't show what we say, then what good is it? We're hypocrites at that point. We're laying who we are. We're laying our names to do something that our work is supposed to do in the first place. So the fact that those faith followers are being beat up by the word, yeah, it just shows that they didn't have faith to begin with. And that's the thing. You have to do a daily faith check. And what I mean by that is, before you walk out those doors, before you do anything, before you even get up to go to work, make sure that you got your armor on. Because if you don't have your armor on, you're gonna get chopped down pretty quick. I just want to say that. But you have to make sure that your faith is strong. Not only is it strong, but you have your faith in the right place. Because if you try to put your faith in the wrong place, then you're gonna get knocked down. You can't expect to build a house in mud. Why? Because because the foundation was sink. The mud is not solid enough to hold the house. So that's why you see builders, even though they wait after, even if it rains while they're building, they wait till that mud dries up and becomes solid, because your foundation has to be on solid ground. It has to be solid, something that never changes, something that sustains, something that's going to maintain the house. So one thing about it is, you can't be so quick to transition that you start building your houses on mud. And that's one thing about it. some people say they have faith, but their faith is in the mud. Their faith is in something that's not solid. Their faith is in something that wavers and wavers and wavers. That's why, like Nate said, you can't rely on the media. You can't rely on the world to tell you what's factual, because as the world changes, the opinions change, the facts change, the story changes every second. And we all know how social media is. Once somebody posts something, oh, it's all you can eat buffet. They're gonna eat it up. Somebody can post up there, oh, I seen Dontario with another woman hugging. Oh, he cheating. When I could have just been in fellowship. I could have just hugged the person, you know. But because it's social media, it's the days that we live in when things become so magnified and become so misconstrued. You see how fast that was? Oh, I thought he was a man of God. Oh, he said he loved God, but he out here. You can't believe everything that you see until you see it work. You have to have faith in something that has consistently worked in your life. That's why I have faith in God, because he has consistently and still consistently working in my life. That's where my faith lies. My faith don't lie in my job. My faith don't lie in my spouse. My faith don't rely even in myself, but it relies in God, because he gives me the strength to do what I need to do on this earth. And so I'm just going to turn over to the advisor at this time as he takes over. I'm just going to sit back and eat, continue to eat.
Oh, man. I talk after you, man. Ooh, oh, man. I got to go back and piggyback off of LeBron, man. That's my favorite basketball. Everybody has their own opinion of Michael and LeBron. But meanwhile, them two are closer than ever. But media, media gonna make what media is, just like y'all said, it's gonna make its own hype about something. Oh, LeBron's never gonna get this, LeBron is never gonna get that, or he's never gonna be as great as Jordan. I mean, definitely have to see the work that he's done, not just on the court, like off the court. The man is remarkable. He's a remarkable husband. He's a remarkable father. He's a role model. He's an entrepreneur into businesses. He's invested, but he's also invested into the reason why he can still do what he does at a high level at the age of 37, because he invested into his body. But that investment, if you break that down, that's faith, because he had to go in the gym and put the work in. He didn't just imagine, okay, one day I'll be great. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna be Kareem and not do no work. But all these years, he's put in the work. He's stayed humble. He's put the work in. He's transitioned from the 18-year-old phenom who came in from St. Vincent St. Mary to where he is now. So, transitioning through faith, what Nate said way back in the episode, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry started his career at a later age, but it didn't really, age doesn't matter of when you started. It's the point of starting something, starting what it is that you are genuinely wanting to do. Even with Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey worked in a carpenter store, and he took this leap of faith by these people that were in his pathway that helped him get this plane ticket to go to Florida to do this show. He became a comedian at the age of 27. But I'm pretty sure anybody who knows Steve Harvey or seen videos of him will basically say something of, oh, he did this or he did that, or most comments about, oh, he's cheating on his wife, or it's the hype of social media. Can't believe everything. You can't believe what it is. You can't believe what everybody say, because everybody's out to get you, because everybody want what you have, but everybody can't have what you have, because your faith and your story is created by God, and only you and God really know what that story is and how it's going to end. Everybody can't. Okay, well, I'm gonna go back to school to do this. Why are you going back to school for? How are you gonna pay for school? That's not their concern. That's not their worry. But at the same time, just you have to believe, and you have to go through what it is that you want to do. That's what I have.
And if I can just add something else to that, um, just because you're still writing out your destiny and your transition doesn't mean that everybody is going to take their eraser and erase the past.
Mm.
There's going to be some out there, maybe all people, they're not going to forget your past.
No.
They're not going to forget your past. You can be the best wife out here, and people still going to say, oh, well, she was in the streets. She slept with this person, that person. She was out there doing this, doing that. It's not about, okay, everybody make mistakes. We all had to go through some rough patches. Ain't nobody perfect. We still strive for perfection. We still make mistakes even in transition. So even though that's who I was back then, that's not who I am now. So don't let anybody, like I said earlier, don't let anybody condemn you by throwing up your past. You're not there anymore. Your past was a stepping stone to where you at now. Not only to where you at now, but where you're going. And that's the whole purpose of transition, is from changing from one place to another. So you've transitioned from a person who was sleeping around to a faithful wife. And yes, there was a lot of forgiveness. There was a lot of forgiveness that had to occur. A lot of cutting off you had to do. A lot of realization. Okay, God, I was out doing this. I'm sorry for doing this. Please forgive me as I go through this transition. That's it. That's it. Do not allow anybody to throw up what you did in the past. I went to jail. Well, not me personally, but I'm just using it for an example. Yeah, I got locked up, but when I got me a degree. I'm a successful business owner now. So I transitioned from an inmate to an entrepreneur. Don't let anybody come and throw out the fact that you was an inmate. Okay, and I was. And don't be ashamed when somebody throw up your past. Say, yeah, I did it. Yeah, you're right, I did, but that's not me anymore. That's not where I am. And the power of those words depend on you. Because no matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody does, you have the power to either, ignore that or let those words allow you to become stagnant. And that's the whole thing about transition. That's the whole thing about transition. You're forever going to go to the gym. Think about going to the gym. Everybody want to get those beach bodies. Summer's right around the corner. Everybody want to get those beach bodies and all this stuff. That's a transition. So you have to transition from eating unhealthy to eating healthy. And I'm talking to myself right now because, hey, I love to eat. I'm from the country. I love to eat. I ain't even gonna lie. But I'm still going through a transition right now. So I just want to let y'all know I'm just not on here acting like I got it all together. I don't. I go through transitions. Nate go through his transitions. EJ go through his transition. Everybody on this line that's watching right now still going through a transition. And I appreciate everybody that's still on here watching, tuning in. It's an hour. We almost an hour and a half in, and People still tuned in. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you that you're taking what we're saying and let it marinate, let it resonate in you and in your spirit, because that's what we want to do. So I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this thoroughly. Like I've enjoyed every interaction, everything that everybody had to say. I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed this podcast. I really have. I've enjoyed this episode, and that's all I'm gonna add.
But you're right though, man. I agree with everything that you just said. And we're gonna hit this question right here. We got one more
Go
question.
ahead.
And
All
and
right.
a side note, Alan, thank you so much for these questions, man. Let me tell before I get into this question, just to add to what Don just said. You guys make the show. So never feel like for one moment that we're doing a show and we have a script to stick to, we have something to stick to. Your feedback is our show. Your comments is this show. Everything that you say, it makes us better. It gives us an opportunity to do something on air where you're not even going to say putting us on the spot. You're giving us an opportunity to answer some real deal questions because we presented the topic, but it's the audience that make your show. And if you don't go and nothing against any other podcast out here that does anything similar to this, but if they're not giving you the opportunity to give them that feedback, then that's not the type of show you want to be a part of. Back on topic though. Again, you guys make the show by giving the feedback that you give us. Because even through this show, I've listened to some great feedback from Don, from E. These guys are giving great feedback. You're in the comments are giving great feedback. We appreciate it so much. Again, like Don just said, for the most part, we've had a big audience throughout the entire show, which is incredible because, as he said, you could have been doing anything else. I know some of them taxes have dropped out here for some of you. You could have been in the mall shopping, but again, you were on the stream watching it with us, and we appreciate that. But to touch on to this question, I have nothing against what y'all are saying. Really good feedback, but the church says all the faith we need is that much as a single mustard seed. One mustard seed is easy to move, but a million. So that a person's faith needs to grow to survive. Absolutely, yeah, it is actually because the mustard seed is similar to. How I want to put this. I would say it's similar to the skill set they have. Just to throw an example, that mustard seed is something that you had as a kid that got you to a teenager that you started to realize what you wanted to do in life. This is the way that you figured out how you're going to be able to impact the world. Because all of us in one way or another has a skill set that we impact the world, has a skill set that we do to do something amazing to benefit someone else. Don gets a chance to minister at church, and that's a beautiful thing. You get a chance to inspire some young men, some young women, even adults in out here. I get a chance to connect with a whole nother aspect through my job, working in the school system, get a chance to special needs students, get a chance to be around my regular coworkers because it's a time to tie in through life. You don't realize what you're learning, where you're gaining your knowledge to do something. Because just to give an example, just throw anything for myself. For years, I've been sports. But I took a step out of for myself as of recent and decided to go back to college to pursue psychology. But I got that. Appreciate it, guys. But I got that through going through my journey. Because one thing, as I said earlier in the stream, your experience is going to show you that you're willing to do something else in life. You might have stepped into this world. I'm not gonna lie. I'll say this. I'll just throw this out here to you guys. As if you want to be the president of the United States, as a 31-year-old man, I would never want that job. They can have that. But that's what I mean as far as your life transitions, the things you want to do in life transitions as you get older. So that mustard seed possesses a lot of things. As you get older, you're going to realize, hey, I'm pretty good at sports. I'm pretty good at business. I'm pretty good at this opportunity. I'm pretty good at that. It leads to what you're going to do in your future. Because everyone has a skill set that all of us possess to be great together, and all of us have something that we possess that's going to be great separate. You're going to be great at one particular thing that this person may need assistance on. That's where you two tie together. That's where sometimes marriages come together, friendships come together, networking come together, because this person might have this part down and you may be the talent. And that's where that comes together. That's where that mustard seed comes into. Your mustard seed started off like this. It's going to get bigger and bigger and grow through the next person and grow through whether you have kids, grow through your family, grow through your friends, grow through your network. The things that you do in life could impact the next person. Because I'm going to tell you like this. It was a mustard seed that was grown through by Don putting the Pens Talk podcast together. It had to be a seed that was sowed within him to say, I want to be willing to step on the air with a group of guys and give my full authentic self for whatever period of time it is. It takes strength to do that because it's not easy to sit here and be your vulnerable self for over an hour. That's a mustard seed. So anything that you pursue in life, that's what it ties into. So at the end of the day, that seed is needed to transition because you don't know how much you have left in you. Just to throw an example of another, and I keep tying this in because we've seen so many great examples. I'm going to tie it in because it's History Month as well. Serena and Venus. I don't know if a lot of you've seen that movie. Their dad had a mustard seed within him to believe in his girls, to say that they were going to be the greatest. As you remember, that coach told them, you got the next Michael Jordan. He said, I had two.
Got the next two.
Look at what they had in life. You had one of the greatest players that ever stepped onto that court and the greatest player that ever stepped onto that court. But guess what? He saw something. He knew the seed that he developed was going to be where it was going to be. He had to take faith. He had to go out here and take risk. He had to go out here and say, okay, this may not be agreed with upon the masses, but guess what? I don't care what they have to about this. I see it. So that's what comes into play with that mustard seed. Your mustard seed could be something you're developing in that you may not realize could make you great. If you're a great artist, if you're a great musician, if you're a great businessman, if you bring so many great elements to the table, don't let nobody tell you can't do that. Don't let nobody tell you can't change a particular thing about yourself. Because guess what? That could be your calling in life. My calling is not Don's calling. It's not E's calling. But guess what? As them being my boys, that's my job to support them along their journey. That's my job to support whoever along their journey. Because whatever God put within you, what your higher power put within you to believe in, to build upon, is what you have to pursue. Never let nobody tell you that mustard seed can't take you to the next level. Because one thing about that mustard seed, you'll look back at life and say, man, I can't believe I got there. Man, I'm proud of myself. I had to get it. I had to grind with it because I believe that this one particular thing took me to the next level. But that's what I have to say on that topic. I'm going to turn it over to my guys.
I didn't know if you was gonna go yet, Errikkion.
Go ahead, man.
All right. So just want to say something to you, Alan. Thanks for all your questions. I've been paying attention to your questions, and I see the curiosity that you have when it comes to faith, and that's a good thing, man. That tells me that you're curious to know more about, God and faith, and that's a beautiful thing, man. And I just want to personally applaud you for that, because some people out here, they not curious about that. All right, oh God, okay, whatever. But you do have those people out here that's like curious. Okay, what is this God that they're talking about? Like, what is this faith they're talking about? And that's what God loves to see, because a cracked door can be open. A cracked door can be open. if you allow it to. So yes, that mustard seed is enough. You want to know why? Because you're enough. God made you enough. He made you powerful enough to withstand everything that comes your way that try to discourage you, that try to tear you down. He made you powerful enough. That's why that seed is needed. That's why the mustard seed, that's enough. It is enough. And like Nate said, the mustard seed is like this. I don't know if all of y'all have seen a mustard seed, but that mustard seed is so small. But you want to know something else? It grows into the biggest tree in the world. So the smallest thing, the thing that everybody discounted, the thing that your naysayers discounted, that idea that people said it wasn't gonna work, that spouse that person that said that your spouse wasn't gonna amount to anything, that thing that people look down upon and say, oh, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna go anywhere. You ain't gonna go nowhere with that. Once that thing grows into the biggest tree, the biggest idea, the biggest house, the biggest whatever God has for you, they can't say nothing then. They can't say nothing then. And you know what? We have to appreciate the naysayers. We have to appreciate the naysayers, because if you wasn't doing anything great, you ain't doing nothing anyway. If they didn't say anything, that if they don't say nothing, that means that you ain't doing nothing anyway. You always going to have people that's going to try to knock down what you got planned. They're always going to try to knock you down. But you know what, though? You keep holding on to your mustard seed. You keep holding on to that small, insignificant thing that people try to call insignificant and all this stuff, and watch it grow into a big tree. And I bet you they're going to try to come back to you then. But you have to realize that you're in a transition. When you're in the transition, you have to realize that mustard seed goes through a transition. Oh, you think just because you plant in the ground, the next day it's just gonna grow into a tree? No, it had to. Even that seed had to go through a transition. It had to go through a transition of watering. It had to go through a transition of different seasons: summer, winter, fall, spring. It had to go through seasons of transitions. It had to go through a transition of where it was the rain was coming and then it was drying. It had to go through a transition. Your faith goes through transitions. You may wake up the next morning and feel like throwing in the towel. There was a point where I had gotten to a point to where I just want to give up on this podcast. I said, ain't nobody gonna tune in. Ain't nobody, liking it. Ain't nobody watching it. Ain't nobody even sharing this. But that little mustard seed told me to keep going. The Spirit told me to keep going, because this is not for you. This podcast is not for me. It's for you guys. All of y'all that's watching, it's for y'all. It's for y'all. And I take no credit. Take no credit for that. So you asking yourself, is this mustard seed enough to survive? Yes, it is. And the thing about it is, in the transition, you don't have to survive. You don't have to thrive. You just have to thrive. Just be who you are. God says, I made you the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are the lender and not the bar. He's put certain things in place for you to be successful. So if you want to find out who you are, it's in the word. He said, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. He said, you are more than a conqueror. He said, if I be for you, who could be against you? So you don't, when your faith is strong, you don't have to worry about surviving. You just live. Because when you surviving, that means that you're on the cusp of giving up. You are on the brink of just throwing in the towel, just forgetting about everything. Oh, I gotta do whatever it takes to live. No. When you got faith and you know that God's got your back, you ain't gotta worry about surviving. You can just live. Just live. And I'm turning over to E at this time.
I understand. Both of you took. Hmm. Honestly, man, I think thing that was said was definitely mind blowing. It definitely was mind blowing. I really don't have to say too many remarks, but I definitely will say to anybody and everybody that all the comments that we've had. Thank you guys for all the comments that we had tonight. Thank you tuning in. My brother will be out there, bar lounge, hookah lounge, where you gonna be at. Definitely thank you for tuning in. And thank you, special thank you to Alan for questions, man. You really had some good questions. You really, definitely curious faith in God, you know. I'm definitely going to say that that mustard seed is like the, the smallest thing, powerful thing there is. It's like planting a flower. You gonna plant this flower, put this seed in the ground. And of course, you can't really expect it to grow 2 4 days from now. It has blooming, it has, just going through its own transition. And its transition can bloom into the most beautiful flower there is. I'm definitely going back today. I don't have too much more to say about this. I appreciate everybody. Nate?
All right, I think that's pretty much most of the questions. So we're gonna probably get ready to wrap it up. But before we get there, man, I want to let these guys say what, give their appreciation or whatever before we get off the air. But man, before I turn it over, y'all made this show great. Alan, we actually that's one of my very close friends in real life, man. I appreciate all that you gave us today, bro. I really appreciate it. I've told you that already. But I just thank everybody that tuned in. There's some people that had to drop off because they had other obligations that came on, but we've had a big audience throughout this entire show. And I really appreciate you guys for that. Because at the end of the day, as we say from the beginning, it's we can't do this without y'all. We only a vessel. We only can come on here and speak our hearts and speak our minds. You guys carry the show for us. At the end of the day, we feel like we part of a team. Like you guys give us the plays to run and we just go execute it at the end of the day, because your questions are adding on to what we want to discuss. We can't put together an hour and 45-minute show or more without you guys support, without you guys coming in, giving your input, whether it's a comment, whether you just sat and just listened the entire time. I hope and pray that you took away so much great information from this show, because at the end of the day, it was brought on upon you because of you guys. We knew what we were going to come in to talk about, but we went to layers that I didn't even know we were going to go to tonight. And that's the beauty of doing a show like this, because you go to the level of what you don't know, you're going to end up touching on. And I can tell you, coming into a show to start the show off, than where we are later on in the show. And I know these guys are probably going to speak on it later on. This is probably we said last show was our best show. This top last show. So the more that we're doing this, the better it's getting, the better the audience is getting, the more support we're getting. And make sure if you just tune in for the first time, if you tune in on a regular, every time that you see us come across your stream, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you like these posts. Make sure that you share this word. Because at the end of the day, what we're getting out here to this world, everybody's not built to do this. But because it's not everyone's job to do this. This is what we were able to do by that mustard seed that, as I said earlier, was given to Don to put the idea out here. He got the right team around him. We put this thing on air. Now it's an opportunity to go out here and spread the word for us. Because the more that we spread this, the more that we get a chance to come together and do these amazing things. And let me go ahead and be the first one to say to Don on air in front of everybody how much I appreciate being a part of this opportunity from day one. Because as he said on to the air earlier, there was a period of time where he was like, man, I don't know if this is going to play out. But I'm going to put it to y'all like this, man. And I said this to him personally, and I can share this with y'all. Whatever you do in life, it's all about timing. There was meant for us to have that period of discovery, of growth and maturity in our own lives and in a collective group to get to this level. And now every show that we've done has been a bigger audience, bigger streams, bigger comments, deeper conversations. That would not have happened if it was not for you. So be proud of what you did with that mustard seed. Be proud of what you did transition through faith. Because guess what? That topic right there that's at the bottom of the screen happened because you had an idea, and with faith, you stepped out and got the equipment. I see the headphones on you. I see where you set up at right now. You get what I'm saying? It happened because you made this possible. We your co-hosts, but let me tell you like this. We came together off of the idea that you put to this world. I want the world to know that. And I know he might be humble over there right now because he didn't expect me to do this. He doesn't know I was going to do this. But when you do something great, you have to show that love to the individual who came up with the concept to do something so amazing.
Because at the end of the day, everybody.
But let me tell you to you like this. I did this in front of everybody because this goes back to what we were just telling everybody else. Give them their flowers. That's what we're doing for you. You gave a great idea that we were able to come along and make even greater with you. So be proud of yourself first and foremost, preacher. Next time you get on here preach like that, we're going to put your cash app up there. I'm going to turn it over to you guys and I'm going to let y'all talk.
Oh, man, I'm just overwhelmed right now, man. I just give glory to God, man. I know I come on here and I give these wise, grand words and, things that nature. But at the end of the day, all glory goes to him. Without him, man, I wouldn't even be here. Without him, it wouldn't be no Dontario. It wouldn't be no Kingpin Talks podcast. It wouldn't even be anything. I wouldn't even exist without him. I wouldn't even have a reason to live. So I just give glory to God for giving me the idea, give me that push to go ahead and just create this, because I was at that period to where I was like, God, you sure? Like, what if they don't like what I put out there? Like, what if they don't listen? God says it don't matter about that, because it's not about you. It's not about you. And once I came to a realization that it wasn't about me, it wasn't about me building a brand, it wasn't about me being famous, it was just about being a servant. At the end of the day, I'm a servant. Yes, I'm a husband. Yes, I'm an assistant warehouse manager. Yes, I'm an owner of a podcast. But at the end of the day, I'm a servant. When I come on here, I am a servant. I am a servant. So don't be afraid to send in your questions. We might have to do let y'all pick the topic, for next month. Gonna put that out there. We're gonna let y'all put out there what y'all want us to talk about. And it's just been a blessing, man, just to see the transition, from where I began. Now, I remember I started off in the kitchen, at the kitchen table, doing podcast episodes, and all the rework recordings I did. But just seeing what I came from to where I'm at now, man. And not only for me, but for all of y'all, man. Just see what we've have transitioned from, man. It's been a blessing. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege doing this with y'all. And I just want to say I'm proud of y'all, man. I'm proud of my brothers that stand beside me as I stand beside them as well. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all so much for even taking this chance to walk this journey with me, because I can't do it individually. I didn't know what their answer was gonna be. But hey, I took a leap of faith. I said, hey, guys, lead me to ask you to take this journey with me, and they said yes. So I just feel I'm just so elated how this episode went tonight. This episode over exceeded my expectations. I knew it was gonna be great, but this right here, like, man, like, it just is such a blessing to be able to do this with the right team, because you got to have the right team around you. Just like in sports, you can't be able to be great with selfish players, they want to hold the ball all the time, players that just want to do what they want to do. But um, um, you just have to have the right teammates around you, right teammates to be able to share the ball, share the wealth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. So even when you're transitioning through faith, you just have to realize that you have to have the right people in your corner, because it's so important that you have a supporting cast behind you, pushing you, giving you that strength, giving you that energy to achieve your goals, to achieve what you want to do in life. So, I know y'all cracking up over there, but I just want to say I appreciate y'all. I love everybody that tuned in. I just say God bless y'all. And guys got some great things in store for all of us, man. I'm just in anticipation of what he has to do in our life. And have a blessed night, guys. I really enjoyed my first episode and looking forward. Yes, we would love for you to come back on. We would love for you to come back on. We appreciate your presence on here. And please share, like, subscribe, and please come back. Please come back. We got some great things in store for this podcast. So I'm gonna turn it over to E at this time, whenever he stops laughing.
Take us home, advisor.
Before I close us in prayer, man, I'm definitely gonna clap it up for my brother Dunn, because giving you your flowers today, man. The opportunity, man, because I was actually this thing is speaking with. I was like, on a podcast. I don't know where to, guide this, man. We did it in different ways. Just, I'm proud of you guys, man. Y'all continue to be the great men that God created you to be. Continue to write your story, man. And remember, man, just put as far as positive energy, put the effort in positive energy, and let not too much of the negative. I heard the little joke you put in there, Russell Westbrook. But man, I appreciate everybody who commented, who viewed us, who shared love, who came on. I appreciate you guys. We all appreciate you guys, because it's not about us at all. It's about you guys. And I thank you guys for the feedback that y'all give us. I thank you for, the comments and the questions, and um, I'm just thankful to be on the podcast as co-host of the Kingpin Talk podcast too, man. I'm very appreciative of it. And as I close us out in prayer, I ask that you guys close your eyes and bow your head as we get ready to end this. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for bringing us here today to talk about transitioning through faith, Lord. I ask that anybody who hears the sound of my voice, let them use what was said, the examples that were said, the experience of the Kingpins podcast. Lord, I ask that you just continue to touch everyone who's listening, but also help them and guide them and help them to get through their transitions of their journey. Help them with their stories, Lord. I ask that you just continue to bless each and every one of you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. And hey, everyone, we love and appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much. Hey, this is a great show. This is Nate checking out. That's Don Kingpin. That's the advisor. Y'all have a great Friday night, and we will see you the next time we're on air.
For the pen.
For the pen.
Hashtag for the pen.
Yeah. Hashtag go for the pen.